It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, the 29th of October, 2013. We're two water tribers, Jarhead and Whitecaps. We're on the Withlacoochee River south in Florida, and we're going to go upriver to a place called Dobbs Hole. This will be our third trip to the area. We're launching from High Bluff, it's called, near Withlacoochee. And we're going there to explore and see if we can find an easier way to get to that upper Withlacoochee to get through if you launch from Dade City, because it's a very beautiful area but practically inaccessible. The water level is 2 feet down from when we were here before. I think it's now 48 something on the USGS gauge near Dade City. But it's actually a little above median for this river in recent years. We're just a little over a mile up from High Bluff now. Okay, I'm stuck in the grass. We're 1.4 miles above High Bluff, and we're not too far from Mainline Road, but it's very different than when we were here before. This grass is different, and because the water level is down so much, the grass is packed in, so it's going to be a lot harder to scoot through it. But I can see a little bit of water there, and I think where we want to go is really over there. So we'll see how it goes.
The grass was easier to go through than this.
It was, yeah. I think because the water level's down, it's just packed in a lot more tightly. But we've busted into an area. It looks like I can go around this way and then bear around to the right, and I see open water over there. So we're going to get there. It's almost like a lake in here, and this is visible on Google, just downriver from Mainline Road, which I think Mainline Road, which is a power line trail, is off on the right of those trees up there, or maybe a little further upriver. But this big open water is visible on Google, and pretty much stays this way, I guess. There is There are the power lines. I don't know if they show on the video, but right up ahead of Toby is where on the right and left you can't see them and they're very hard to get to, but the ends of Main Line Road it's called, which is closed off, and there's Kingfisher, closed off restricted power line road used for servicing the lines. Okay, we're off to the left of the main channel. We had to. Everything's different now. It's clogged with grasses where our little secret channel was before. And now I'm back in we're trying to find a way through the cypress on the left of the river to avoid that dense lettuce. Okay, this is where we were able to paddle before. I think we paddled right about where Toby's pulling his boat and got into this little slot behind me. But with the water 2 feet down, it's actually easier to drag your canoe than it is to break through the water plants. Well, this is a illustration to us of how different things become. That's Dobbs Hole, that lake ahead.
It would have sucked if we'd have put in.
Yeah, it was absolutely easy paddling to here. There was nothing like this obstruction there whatsoever last time, and now that is a formidable barrier right there. This lettuce stuff wasn't present last time, at least not in this amount. It was mostly grassy looking stuff, and this is harder to move out of the way and harder to get through. So we got a real tough problem right here. That's Dobbs Hole over there, straight ahead beyond the birds. A really pretty lake, and like I said, when we left Dobbs Hole last time, it was just real easy to paddle the way you see in front, and then on down that's the Withlacoochee River behind. Okay, we tried to get across this, or I tried and got about half a boat length, and we decided to portage. That side over there was easy except for the start. This was a little longer on this side, but we managed to not even have to unload the boat. We dragged them through and lifted over a few knees. So now we're gonna go, the grass is thin out right over there, and then there's a little ribbon, and then we'll be out into Dobbs Hole. There's a brown ibis over there. I don't know if that's a juvenile or female or what. Yeah.
We know we can camp in here somewhere.
Right.
Without having to go through that grass.
Well, we're seeing ground now. We're now where we think the Withlacoochee comes into Dobbs Hole, but you can't go very far up here. And to the right is kind of an island with swamp all around it, where we camped last time, but it's way back in there, around the other end of the island. But we see high ground off. It's uncovered now, and gonna end up camping around here, and then trying to bust through to a known to the Withlacoochee on the other side of this swamp. Is that still the end? Well, we couldn't get too far. We don't want to waste time trying to bust through now because we're going to explore it on foot some and see if we can spot a breakthrough. But this is, if you could do it, then you'd come down the Withlacoochee like I'm facing. I'm going downriver now, and then break into Dobbs Hole, the lake, right in front. This is extremely beautiful country for those of us that like it. It's just gorgeous. You're not going to meet, you know, spring break gaggle of aluminum canoes here. You don't see anybody, John boats, fishermen, nothing can get back through. But this Dobbs Hole is not totally wild. On the far side is a fence and some pasture. It's private land there, looking maybe not straight ahead, but off to the right there's a little cove and private land goes to it. And I'm told that people are not at all interested in you putting your foot on their property. So that's all good. It's an emergency way out if you had to. Apologize later. But otherwise this is very wild country, despite the fact that we're I'll have to check as the crow flies, maybe not a couple miles from 301. Beautiful beautiful area. Never seen anything quite like that. It's a real old tall cypress, but the knees around it, and there's a canoe trail sign, a real old one. It's all bleached out. There's just more evidence that there was a it's just hanging there. There was a canoe trail. A really neat looking old stump over there. There was a canoe trail here. It's just obliterated now. That's the cove, where if you go up in it, there's a section. It's kind of clear. It's the edge of a pasture, and there's a fence and a no trespassing sign. And then if you go through the trees straight ahead in that cove, maybe 40 yards, you'll come to more open pasture-like land that is private and not to be trespassed on. This is the way we just came. That's heading downriver on the Withlacoochee. Again, going back, we're going to have to skirt that big clogged area again. Toby stepped in a hole. We left our boats back there to do a little exploring on foot. This stuff's too hard to get through. But what we're hoping, is that high ground there? That looks like high ground. We're hoping that we get out of the sunlight, this grass and stuff doesn't grow. We haven't found very many clogged areas with where the oaks are. And so where we are now is a creek on the south end of Dobbs Hole. We don't know if it connects with the Withlacoochee or not. Again, the Withlacoochee kind of just disappears into a swamp, and so I think it's the same swamp. You know, the water connects, and if we're just doing this in order to have some fun. The boats are back there a few hundred yards. Yeah, we got high ground and it does open up a little. I don't know if it's worth dragging the boats here or not. Well, the glare I'm sure is bad, but the fish are jumping like crazy here in this little cove in the north part of Dobbs Hole. I don't know what they are, but they're just in this little cove. I didn't notice so many out in the that's the main lake out there, and our camp is it's not quite visible. It's to the left of the point there and across, all the way across the lake. There's a no trespassing sign. That's the only sign of man we've seen around here, because it's private property behind me. And this is private property over where I'm panning the camera. All these fish are jumping. But it's a little after 5. It means I should be getting back to the camp. Okay, this is from our campsite. It's Wednesday morning, 30th of October 2013. We're on the Withlacoochee River where it comes into Dobbs Hole. That's all there is of the river there. It comes out of a swamp in the background. Probably can't see, I don't have a zoom on this. Are those
Those are ironhead wood stork.
Yeah, wood storks in that big old cypress out there. Okay, looking upriver here at what appears to be the Withlacoochee. We've waded and busted through the swamp. There's a whole bunch of fallen big trees there, which appear to be one of the major reasons why the river is all blocked up. Huge cypress have fallen, and this stuff here is now only about 2 feet deep, so sometimes waist deep. It's a little scary, but when it's armpit deep or neck deep, you do not want to get in it. Here I feel that a gator couldn't swim under a lot of this stuff. It's weeds all the way to the ground. But we're gonna bust up this way and try to find our way back to the clear river. There's a gator. Probably won't show here, but there's a log that should show, and then in between the log and the duckweed scum, there's a gator looking at us. We've been wading up to our waist in this stuff, but that's a little fella right there. Maybe his mom and dad are gone, but that shows us that they're in here. We were curious about Dobbs Hole. It's a beautiful lake where a place like that on the Myakka has so many gators. It's hilarious. It's just, you could walk across on them. 1,000 gators in a hole smaller than that, and Dobbs Hole should be. And there's an evil looking spider. Toby's always, he says I've got arachnophobia. I'm not afraid of arachs, I'm afraid of spiders. Now that is a nasty looking spider. I don't know if it'll show up here, but I've been seeing lots of them, and I'm scaring him away. He doesn't see them, but I'm trying to, I don't have a zoom on this, but it's brown, pretty big, and it's got a white fringe on him, so we'll see. I'll get a little closer, but I don't want to tip my canoe. Okay, we're going on foot now, since it's a lot of work to get over each of these obstacles. And the water is about waist deep where we got out of the boat. So we're tie off the boats. That's looking down river. And we've got high ground now on the riverbank on the left. I'm going to walk up and see how hard it is to get through. Still working our way along. We left the boats about 200 yards back there. This swamp is make a good movie set. We're seeing got to be 100 curlew or ibis flying through in front of us. They've been doing it for 5 minutes now. There's a huge flock of them back in there. I hope they show up on the camera here, but they just keep flying. That's one of the biggest groups of them I've ever seen. But we're not seeing the same ones. They're all going left to right as the camera's facing. And we're wondering if they're going down a riverbed, because what we're in now doesn't seem like the river, although there is current in it. It's not very, we're never going to paddle it, we're sure of that. Look at that, Toby.
I know it.
God almighty.
I've never seen that big of a flock.
Unbelievable. I mean, they were doing it for a few minutes before I got the camera out. Whoa. Well, I'm going to stop filming them because I'm not seeing anything new, but it's an amazing, amazing number of them.
There's more groups getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, here comes one close by. Wow. There's a king size. I mean, that is hundreds of ibis flying through here. There's some more. We're trying to get close to the ibis without scaring them. You can only see a tiny number of them here, but there are hundreds. They've been flying for 10 minutes into the area and setting down. and it's a really neat sight. I'm afraid if we get any closer we'll scare them all off. But that is amazing. I just wish the camera could get more of them, because we're just looking at a couple dozen right there. But I mean, they're everywhere back in there. You just can't. You can't get a view of all of them at once. Damn, I missed most of them. Couldn't get my camera on. See, there's one of the old blazed, we call them canoe tags, but whatever. That was the old trail. And this is the last one we see from the north. Behind me, behind the camera, there were 3 or 4 of them. We're not sure if we ever made it this far or not. Nothing really looks that familiar. But we've been on foot now from our canoes for an hour and a half or so, and we're going to work our way back now. It's a lot easier walking in the water than trying to walk through some of the grass or the cypress. And there's an example of how these gators don't seem to be afraid of much. I just came past this guy without knowing it. Toby's back here. We've had to wade up to our waist in some of this, but gators are definitely in here. We're counting on them being afraid of us, but he's only afraid of Toby. Or maybe Toby needs a mint. Now, this is the kind of junk we're having to walk through. It's not very fun. And we're afraid this is going to keep us out of the Mensa Society, but our hopes are up. Many of these old trees show signs of lightning strike. You see the charring in there. That often happens to a tree. It chars on the inside, and sometimes they live and sometimes they don't. This one is living. And that's looking downriver right there. This is an area we paddled through before to get to Dobbs Hole, which is right through there. I don't know if any blue will show up, but looks like about 200 or 300 yards through there. But I remember all these old cut cypress trees, and now it's just ankle deep here, and then where we paddled, it's bone dry now. It's all very dry around here, since the water level is about 2 feet lower than when we were here before. That's the site of our camp on trips 1 and 2. And I'm standing right about where we beached our boats. We came from that direction. Of course, the water was shallow there, but we were able to paddle right up to here. And I'm going to try to walk back that way and see if I can determine why it is we came this way 2 times without trying and ended up here. As I walked around a while ago, it wasn't obvious how we were guided here. I just saw a very large, or large enough, water moccasin go right off the end of that log. And that's going to turn me back because the same stuff lies ahead. I was trying to retrace the way we came into our old campsite, which is back that way. And you can see there is sort of a naturally clear path between trees. How we came to here, I don't know. We just went wherever we could get the canoes. But walking in this scum, I can't see things like that. He didn't move until I was pretty close to him. I was getting ready to go over the log, so I think being by myself, I've stumbled on a site occupied by primitive man. I need to be careful. They're known to be dangerous.
Living below in this so simple world, hardly comfort can afford. Striving alone, there's temptations call. Where could I go to the Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to help me in need. Where could I go to the Lord? Neighbors are fun, I love them everyone. We get along in sweet accord. But when I pass the chilling hand of death, where could I go to the Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to help me in need. Where could I go to the Lord? Life is grand.
Yeah.
Friends I love so well. Comfort I get from God's own word. But when my soul needs manna from above, where could I go to the Lord?